our first plot tour of the decade, January the 4th,
Yes.
2020.
It should have been end of December, but we didn't get round to an end of December tour, and nothing's much changed. We've done a bit of work, haven't we?
We've had a few fine days and we've
That's
got on
all.
with a few jobs. So it might be a new decade, but we're starting where we normally start, Cardoons. This one was the last one to get chopped down. It's not going quite as well as the other one.
Still going.
Oh yeah, it's growing alright. If you wander down and have a look at the other one, you'll see how much better that one looks.
It's been growing for longer. It's been a bit battered.
Yeah, windy today. It's been windy the last couple of days.
But some nice growth in the middle.
Looks well, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's why we grow it.
Yeah,
Flowering perennials.
looking lovely.
We've got the start of some poached eggplants coming, which will try and take over the whole of the
You can
plot.
see they quite easily grow in the path that gets, I was going to say trimmed every 2 weeks, but it will do through spring and
I'm
summer.
going to try and control it a bit this year because it spread too far, didn't it, last year?
Yeah. Elders are still to be pruned, they'll be cut back a bit.
Yeah.
We're going to leave them a bit longer this year to see if we can get some flowers.
They're pretty pink flowers, aren't they?
They are. Roses need a prune still, don't they?
Yeah. There's a bud though, still.
Supposed to do them on Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a bit later though, depends on the weather.
Yeah, it can be a bit cold in the middle
Yeah.
of February, can't it?
And this one's still got some flowers. It's really vigorous, that one. I cut it back every year, but always grows enormous. Then we've got even things growing in the path. With a cerinthy there, which we've never sown any cerinthy seeds in this part of the plot, but they still come.
These are our first 4 beds that will be planted up in spring.
Did a bit of tidying up the other day.
Tidying up. The compost from the contaminated grow bags has gone on this bed, which will be brassicas, which shouldn't be affected, we hope won't be affected by any residue.
We never heard anything back about that, did we? Never
didn't,
heard any
no,
confirmation
no.
or anything
So we're
about.
assuming we were right. It was weed contamination, weed killer contamination. These beds are really waiting for it to dry out a bit more before they can be dug
I
over.
got the 1 or 2 weeds out though that were growing through the slits in the wheat control fabric,
Yeah.
except for a dock just over there, which was a bit
deep.
too deep rooted. And
The jostaberries have been pruned back, haven't they?
yeah, all the jostaberries are now pruned back. Just got the gooseberries to do.
Head to the onions.
Yeah.
So the overwintering onions are looking pretty good, I think.
They are. They might get battered a bit if it snows, but they usually manage to come through, don't
They
they?
do.
We often do better with winter onions than summer ones, don't we?
We usually do alright with summer, don't we?
Yeah.
And then the next bed is brassicas that are really ready for clearing, apart from some red cabbage, which is got some small heads, nothing as big as we usually have, but we've got some sort of small heads that are quite firm.
And the green ones have been destroyed by the weather, haven't they, really?
Yeah,
It's just been too wet, it's just rotted them.
no signs in my new rhubarb bed of any crowns sprouting, but I think they were later varieties that I put in, so I'm not expecting much just yet.
We've got a buttercup there that'll have to come out.
Yeah. A couple of more beds waiting for some better weather so they can be tidied up.
All the enviromesh has come off, hasn't it,
Yeah,
at this side?
yeah.
Well, most of it.
Our pile of leaves gradually rotting down into the weed control fabric.
So if any little hedgehogs need a nice snug home, there you go. Just nuzzle under there.
Yeah. Then we've got our old blueberry patch.
No,
Blueberry.
honeyberry.
It's not honeyberry.
The honeyberries are just roots in there now, aren't they?
Yeah, so they've got to come out, and then we'll decide what we're going to plant in there in spring.
We thought
providing we can
maybe
get it clean.
gooseberries as one
Yeah, we
thing,
did,
didn't
yeah.
we?
Yeah.
All the crocosmia needs to be trimmed back.
Yeah, this bit needs a bit of a sort out, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Cut back and find the primroses that are almost under the edge of that path over there.
Yeah. Can't actually see any coming through just yet,
There
can
are
you?
little bits just down there, I can see some.
Are you sure the primroses?
Yeah.
The black currants have got buds now. Never get round to pruning these, but they do all right, don't they?
Yeah, we get enough, don't we?
Yeah. So do the blackbirds.
Yeah, because we never cover them, do we?
No. There's plenty to share. Then the fruit bed here that looks to be covered in weeds, they're actually candy tufts that have seeded from the opposite bed.
Grapevine growing on the shed needs a bit of a prune. That's got a few weeks before we need to get round to that
Yeah.
just yet.
That grows a mile a minute, doesn't it, in
Does
summer?
once it
I
starts.
cut it back nearly every week, really hard back, and it carries on. And the earliest of the blueberries, which is this one, has got a few buds.
Notice down here that there's lots of spring bulbs coming through now.
Yeah, there'll be tulips, I think.
Some look like tulips, yeah.
It's maybe an odd crocus in amongst on this bed, but it's mainly tulips, and a lot of them have seeded themselves from ones we put in originally. You can see the paths are looking really muddy, especially the ones where we can't avoid coming down this one, can we?
No.
Very easily.
There we go.
Shall I go in the greenhouse?
And then
Really, this is a storage area in winter, but there are some spinach seedlings which are growing very, 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 very slowly, and hopefully will go a bit quicker come spring. We've got a few spring onions as well.
paths were getting so muddy.
Sorry,
Paths were getting so muddy that we had to
what about this little buddleia?
would chip that. Oh
Martin.
yeah, go on, do the little buddleia then.
The little buddleia here is in a pot because we found it over on the plot, and it was in a part of the plot where we don't usually grow buddleias, and it was quite close to where a plot neighbour had a white buddleia, and seeing as we haven't got a white buddleia, we're hoping that that will be white and be added to our collection. Put some more chippings on this path, haven't you?
I have, yeah, it got muddy, hasn't it? This side of the plot had been taken over with bits and pieces and piles of rubbish that had been cut back. Yesterday was big bonfire day and we managed to get rid of virtually all of it.
Except a few buddleia branches.
Yeah, we've got some down this end, but it still needs sorting out. Some of these will be decent stakes for using for supporting plants through next year.
I shouldn't have come down this side, I'm stuck.
Not much left of yesterday's enormous bonfire. But at least it gives us a chance now to start sorting a few of these beds out once they dry out.
We took this enviromesh off, didn't we, while we had a fire
of...
because of sparks burning holes in it.
Right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we've got some spring cabbages April at this end. They don't look so bad, do they?
No.
Moving on,
there's an odd swede there, but it's not produced a big root.
We've got some broccoli, purple sprouting, isn't it?
Yeah.
A few cauliflowers. And at the end we've got some killerton cabbages.
They look really big, don't they?
But there's a bit of waste on them, isn't there, because of the weather.
The weather, the rain's just seeped through a lot of the leaves, and so you have to take quite a few of the old outer leaves off.
And again on this part we've got 3 beds waiting to dry out a bit before they're prepared, ready for spring planting.
And then what would have been my annual flower bed, I say would have been because they were growing really well, they'd germinated really well, and then the munching machines came out with the rain and virtually wiped them out, haven't they?
Yep, not much left in there, is there?
No. I don't know what we're protecting really.
Well, there's a few bits under there. Our lavender still needs a bit of a cutback, doesn't it?
That will get done in spring because I like to leave the dead on over winter just to give them a bit of protection. They weren't meant to be here anyway, they were meant to be edging plants and they just went here temporarily. But they flowered and they look lovely and the bees and everything love them, so we left them.
Strawberry plants, some look really well. Some look not
Sweetheart
so well
ones look really well, don't they? Yeah. They were ones I took from runners as well.
Yeah, they look well, and then as we work up this bed, they tend to look a bit worse for wear, don't they?
Yeah, but they might come again.
Yeah, we'll leave it until
There's
spring.
sort of growth in the middle.
Yeah, see if they start and come again.
And I have got some runners of these ones, elegans, or elegans, to replace them if we need to.
There's a brassica bed at this side that's just about ready to be cleared. We've got some some decent sprouts still to pick.
And the best ones we had at Christmas, didn't we?
Yep.
Buddleias have been cut back.
Yeah, that was all the stuff we got burnt yesterday, wasn't it, all the buddleias? They actually were the driest stuff we had. The last we cut that, but they were dry.
We've got some
the fire going.
catkins on the hazels already. And some buds that will either be leaves or the female flowers, I suppose.
So these 4 beds are rotated, just waiting to dry up again.
Just a few leeks left in that one over there. We did have some ochres in there, or ochres, didn't we? But
rubbish,
we've dug them up. Martin says they were rubbish. They were rubbish, and he says we shouldn't grow them again, but I'm not sure. I quite fancy getting some to grow, so we can see what they taste like.
A few nice leeks left. But our disastrous carrots are just about finished over on this side. the early now.
They were rubbish, weren't they? We shan't grow them again.
Composting.
We usually have carrots right through, don't we? And
Yeah,
we've not really many left
a few
at all.
Flacky left, but they've had lots of damage. With a few autumn king left, but again they've been badly damaged.
I think the bugs have had more than us, haven't they?
Certainly have. Parsnips have done reasonably well to say we had some erratic germination. The ones that obviously germinated have produced some really decent size to parsnips.
They might be a little bit strange shaped, but they're fine, aren't they? There's plenty on.
Yeah, okay. And then one of our early rhubarb crowns has got lots of shoots.
Which we think is timply early, don't we?
Yeah.
And it's usually the first one that we harvest, and people sort of say, well, how come you've got rhubarb so early when ours is only just shooting? And it's probably because they've got a later variety, because there are about, well, hundreds of varieties, aren't they?
Yeah.
We know a place near us at Clumber Park that have got the second largest collection of rhubarb, and they've got about 300 different varieties. So there's plenty to choose from.
And the other thing that's looking quite well at the minute is our bamboo that came from home.
We brought it from home because it was straying all over the place and being a nuisance, wasn't it? And yet here it's
nice clump.
Doing what we wanted it to do in the garden.
I think that's it.
And there's another rhubarb over here that I tidied up a bit yesterday.
All sorts in those over there.
It's another early one as well, isn't there?
Yeah, you do have to watch it across here because there's some early blooms.
It's quite a big crown.
Yeah, that's an early one.
That's early timply, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's two at the back which are where I took most of the ones that I transferred over.
Just needs more of a clear out, doesn't it?
Yeah. Is that it then?
Yeah, that's about it.
Right, our first tour of the new decade.
So thanks for watching.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.